Welcome to another wonderful edition of Swim Easy Speed, and we're going to analyze another video today from professional triathlete Natasha Van Der Merwe. And I've been working with Natasha for a little bit over a year now. She came to me, knowing that she was kind of going to be wrapping up her pro career in the next few seasons, and I'd always struggled with the swim or getting her swim competitive enough where she could really demonstrate her bike and run fitness and how good she'd become in that. And she came to me, like I said, about a year ago. And what we did was we, came up, she had an injury from a swim injury that she had developed kind of along the way, and she didn't want to get surgery on it. So we had some limitations there in terms of what we could do, and we just had to find kind of interesting ways to overcome that injury and still get her fit enough and fast enough to race. So this was, I guess, a couple months ago, and we looked at her stroke, put her in the endless pool, and this is kind of what we saw and what we've been working on, and I'll show you kind of how she's developed since then. So here she is. She's got a pretty good line down her body, so if you look forward to just a little bit, so right here is pretty good. She's really pretty straight all the way down, kind of that midline, and she's fairly symmetrical on both sides. So here we go underwater. So look, like, we've been seeing with a lot of athletes, so right there, as she extends out, we get that. So it's, that position in the water. So it's from there to there, to there to there. When really what we want is it should be just kind of straight down like that, maybe even not even that low. We more a lot of kind of like, as you extend it out, you'd want to be like there. So that wrist is below the elbow, elbow below shoulder. And then as soon as you've set that catch, you can grab the water and start pulling yourself forward. So, one of the things that happens is when you're in that position is you start that catch and it's just all press, 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 press. And then you start moving yourself forward. And you can see with her, she does a pretty good job even with that of, keeping her hips up in the water. So, that hip is, pretty close to the surface of the water. And then the right, so we'll go back up a little bit. So the right is kind of in the same position. It's not as exaggerated, but, we've got kind of that angle on the water. And then as she presses through, press, 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 you don't really start pulling forward till right about there. Her right shoulder is the shoulder that's got a little bit of injury to it. So that's kind of the shoulder that we've been trying to kind of focus on, do some strength and conditioning work, some rehab work around it to get her where she didn't have to have surgery, and where we could still kind of put in a decent amount of yardage and intensity to get her where she needed to be, kind of speed, fitness-wise, for a swim, for an Ironman swim, or a half Ironman swim. So we'll kind of go forward a little bit and just show you what. So this was the second drill that we did in a series of drills to really focus on getting that back end up a little bit more, getting that high elbow catch to happen a little bit sooner in the stroke, and get that position in the water. So this we did with donuts and short fins. And when I say donuts, I'm not, I'm not talking about like Krispy Kremes. They're just those, the innards of the lane line that float. And it's basically effectively just a modified fist drill where you take the feeling away from your hand, your feel for the water away from the hand, and you press down against the buoyancy of that donut. So then when we take it away, the hand is going to go down there automatically. And then you're trying to get that kind of forearm on the water a lot sooner to help with pull. Although the pulling surface for the forearm is fairly minimal compared to what you can do with your hand. So, so here we go, kind of forward a little bit, and you can see here she is kind of with the fins on. So the short fins just give her a little bit more speed. She can put a little bit more pressure on her core. And, you know, at the end of the day, what we're trying to get to happen is we're trying to, just like if you have a really good strength and conditioning program in the weight room, we're trying to get the core to engage while you recruit another muscle group. And, you know, that's kind of that coordination that we're trying to make happen every time we get in the water. And, you know, really the way you want to think about it is, you know, there's shoulder-driven stroke, hip-driven stroke, core-driven stroke. And, you know, we're trying to get to, I mean, there aren't many sports, especially land-based sports, where, you know, all that stability comes from the core, and swimming is no different. The stability in the water and a lot of that muscular coordination, neuromuscular coordination, comes from the core. So we're really trying to get that to engage, and it's one of the bigger issues that I see with triathletes typically, is that engagement, that the level of engagement that's needed, and then the coordination that it provides just isn't there a lot of times. So that's kind of one of the things we want to do. So you can see, you know, she still looks pretty good. Feet are together, and then, you know, as we go through here, you can see that, you know, she's pressing down right there, so the angle of that arm looks a little bit better. I mean, we're getting close to kind of being a little bit flatter, and instead of kind of where the elbow has this huge drop. So then we keep on going forward. So this is kind of this drill. So now here's the final swim that she does, and this is without the gear. So you can see, you know, she's really aligned. She looks just as good. She's just getting a little bit more power. And you can see kind of how much more connected those hips and shoulders are in the stroke. So you see the rotation there. Hip rotates exactly the same. On the other side, it's rotating exactly the same. And there's just a lot more coordination where she's pulling with the whole body. And then here we go. You can see, we'll back it up a little bit. You know, so we're getting a little bit better, still not exactly where you'd want it, but we're certainly better than where it was when we first started with this. And then, you know, she's kind of is really trying to be mindful of pulling the water and really grabbing on the water a lot sooner. So if you look there, so she's right there already pulling herself forward on the water. And then you can see really that really good dig right through here where, you know, you've got the arm just like this. And just a really good angle on the water, good body position in the water. And she can really get all of those big muscles in the back, all engaged on the water at the same time when she's in this really long, flat kind of body position. So she's got maximum amount of surface area on the water, minimal amount of drag, and then a really good position for her body to lever the water and pull herself forward. So you can see that's kind of the same way on each side. So she does a pretty good job on the right. Drops the elbow stair there a little bit. So let's go back a little bit, because I know she was doing it better earlier. So there, we're still on the right, not exactly where we need to be, but that's kind of the shoulder that gives her the issue, is on that right side. And so that's one of those things where, you know, she's just going to keep on having to think about that and work on it. And so yeah, that was Natasha's video. So thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions, just please leave it in the comments. And if you like the video, just share it. So thanks again.